All right, I think it's live. Sorry, guys, we had I don't know what the hell happened. It didn't broadcast before, but it certainly is now. I'm looking at it officially, looking at my stupid face on YouTube itself. I don't know. Sometimes Google Hangouts and YouTube don't work properly, but I hope you guys all are finding your ways back to this stream. I know there were a bunch of you hanging out at once at the old one, so I hope you guys can find your way. Sorry. Okay, so I guess we have to start over because I don't think anybody saw anything. Like we talked for like 10 minutes, but I'll go ahead and start over. Sorry about this, Shemer. Well, I'm just gonna redo my little advertisement for Studio Bricks now that we're sponsored.
Sure.
Studio Bricks is sponsoring Sound Booth Theater now. As you can see, I am in a Studio Bricks booth right now. I've been using this thing for more than 2 years. I love it. I'm a little bit sad to see it go. I'm going to be taking it over to Annie's house in Tulsa in a couple days so that she can start working independently of me. But I also got a brand new booth. It's hanging out down in my kitchen right now. Let me show you the Studio Bricks website because it'll give you a little bit better idea of what we're dealing with. I think these things are super sexy. They look like something out of Stargate or maybe Portal or something. Really cool construction um, and really nice interiors. As you can see, this stuff fits together like a set of Legos. Maybe there is just a little bit of wear and tear whenever you take it apart and move it somewhere and put it back together, but it's about as little wear and tear as you're going to get out of any kind of booth like this. And it only takes about 30 minutes to take it apart and put it back together once you know your booth and once you know how everything fits together. The main thing is these giant, heavy glass doors. These are like 120 pounds, so you have to have a friend with you to help you put it on and take it off. But other than that, it's incredibly easy to assemble, disassemble. This is the one I'm in right now, the Studio Bricks One. The one I just bought is the Studio Bricks One Plus, so it's just got a little bit of extra room. And then Studio Bricks also has all sorts of different customization options that you can talk to them um, and get exactly what you need. I mean, there's people that use it for just offices, for just cubicles. You know, it's not just musicians and voice actors who use this. But if you are a voice actor, aspiring audiobook narrator, this is one of the best tools that you can get for yourself. One of the best investments. You know, it's going to retain its value for quite some time. If you decide you need to upgrade, or if at some point down the road you decide that narration or VO isn't your thing, people will always be looking for used ones of these to pick up. Trust me, this one that I got today, or the one that I'm working in today, was used when I bought it, and I don't regret the purchase at all. So, if you are in the market for something like this, go check out Studio Brick's website, which is in the link in the description below, and please tell them that Sound Booth Theater sent you. All right, Shemer, out of
I'm here.
out of the pitch, back into life, reset 3, Hobnobbing. One more time, can you tell people what is up with this? I'm sorry, with this book.
Yeah, so in book 3, I took a little step away from settlement building in Goblin Gorge, and Oren, the hero, goes out to a little trek to a nearby enemy town of Hobgoblins, where he's considered nothing more as a slave. And the entire book is his struggle from a very low social standpoint to reach his goal. And that's why I titled it Hobnobbing, for all the obvious double meanings. We have a bunch of new characters and many of the old ones. It was mostly well received. A few people grumbled about the ending, but I still stand by it. I think the surprise factor was worth it.
Well, you know, if you're gonna put a surprise in there, some people aren't gonna like the surprise, and that's just all there is to it.
Yeah.
You got to take risks to do cool stuff.
Exactly.
I'm actually kind of surprised that people weren't complaining more about the length, because you had been spoiling them with these giant tomes, books 1 and 2, and this is still a big book, but
Yeah.
compared to your first two, it's like it's not. Which
Yeah,
for
it's
me,
three-quarters.
yeah,
Yeah.
for me,
It
it's like great. Like, yes, a little bit less work for this book, but
well,
I think that, you know what, you deserve to have a little bit shorter book after those two giant ones that you started off with. Um,
yeah, but I don't think I compromise on content, because part of being able to write shorter is just because I'm learning how to be more concise as I
yeah,
describe the story. So
right, yeah,
write more efficiently.
I think that's a good thing. Like, as a craftsman, as a uh, in anything, I think being concise and being able to use as few words as possible to convey what you want to convey
Exactly.
is a mark of true improvement.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we had decided earlier that we're going to start on chapter 5, the bar fight, and we got Bob starting the show off. Who else do we have? We have Vic still in here. Um,
Yuli.
Yuli is here. Lori is not with us today, but she will be taking on as she did last book. She will be taking on Yuli's role. She's a hobgoblin. Is she the girlfriend, or is she like a scout? She's the scout, right?
God,
Yeah,
right. Good memory.
yeah. Um,
She has a bigger part to play in this book.
awesome. Tyken.
Yeah, he's just a random mob that's going to get slaughtered.
Oh, cool. And what is he? Is he just a hobgoblin?
He's a hobgoblin bartender,
Okay.
an obnoxious one.
Is there anybody else in this?
Um, just a few one-timers. I think you can just wing it
Okay.
along.
Cool. All right. So here goes the bar fight scene. Innkeeper, bring me a drink. Bob's voice boomed from the other side of the door. I opened the door quietly, just enough for me to slip through and sneak inside. Oh, let me make sure. I need to plug in my iPad here. It's almost dead. I found myself on the inn's main floor, behind the counter. It was at my eye level, and I could see a dozen or so patrons inside the room. I quickly lowered myself to avoid detection, finding 2 barrels and a few sacks below the counter. Shit! How do I know which one's the right barrel? I whispered silently. Well, let's think. Vic's sarcastic voice sounded in my mind. Damon said Tyken's high-quality stuff isn't strong, whereas everyone else's drinks smell like it can peel the paint off the walls. It is indeed a conundrum. How on earth would you ever find the right barrel? Very funny, I said dryly, though I did feel stupid for asking. There was a spigot on each of the barrels, and I checked the left one first. The acrid smell of rotgut assaulted my nose, and I nearly gagged. I quickly stoppered the barrel and opened the second one, not even bothering to check its contents. I removed the lid from the bottle I'd brought with me and emptied the liquid into the open barrel. In contrast to the violent smell of the rotgut, the high-quality alcohol smelled clean and refined. I put the empty bottle back in my inventory and stoppered the second barrel. Mission complete. Chief, watch out! Yuli shouted. Oh-ho. Oh-ho! Vic chimed. A gruff hand descended on the nape of my neck and lifted me up. I found myself dangling in the air, face to face with a very angry 2-meter-tall bugbear. Okay. I'm trying to remember how I did the bug. I think I encountered some bugbears in book 2, right?
Yes, there
But
were there were.
in this world, they're just like basically bigger hobgoblins, right? Though.
Yeah, they're bulkier.
What the hell is a little vermin doing with my stash? He demanded, shaking me. Quest updated. Boozing the Boozer. You have failed to spike Tyken's drink undetected. New objective: kill Tyken and all witnesses. Quest type: advanced. Reward: 200 XP, plus 800 reputation with Damon. Damon or Diamond?
Damon is cool.
Okay. Instead of feeling anxious or disheartened for failing the initial quest, I felt uplifted. I'd done my best to stick to the rules and complete the quest properly, and yet I was caught red-handed. That meant I could now unleash with a clear conscience. Tyken's rough shaking didn't really hurt me, but all the other patrons rose to their feet and drew their weapons. They seemed quite eager to assist the bugbear in manhandling a small goblin. I didn't have to analyze anyone to recognize their strengths. I inhaled all the information tendrils in the room, absorbing the rudimentary details all at once. Tyken was level 12 and had mediocre combat skills. The other patrons' levels ranged between 10 to 30. With my free hand, I drew out the demon staff. It had been too long since I'd held it. The feeling of power that washed over me was euphoric. I gave Tyken a huge grin. Time to dice up some hobs. I cast Drilling Arrow, sending a volley of 3 projectiles point blank into the bugbear's body. They did nearly 80 damage, bringing his health down to a quarter. He dropped me with a startled cry and clutched at his wounds. With a vindictive smirk, I leveled the pointy end of my staff and stabbed him in the stomach while unleashing a stored Dire Ball spell. Dire Ball hits Tyken for 582 damage. Base 291 times Epicenter 2. Dire Ball skill level increased to 13. The castigation special ability didn't trigger, as I was still at full health, but the normal amount of damage was enough to do the job. Tyken's body exploded into a mist of blood, painting the entire inn red. That might have been a bit of an overkill, but the feral goblin in me purred with pleasure at the brutal death of my enemy. And I had 2 more dire balls loaded into my staff. Bob, Yuli, guard the front door. Don't let anyone leave, I commanded. Tyken's 5 lackeys drew their weapons and eyed me apprehensively. 2 patrons, the lowest level ones, dashed toward the door but were promptly cut down by my lieutenant and scout boss, who had positioned themselves to block the exit. The other 5 patrons, all burly and battle-tested, adopted a fighting stance. Using my power over darkness, I exerted my will, clutching as much shadow matter as I could. Viscous blackness flowed into the inn through the seams in the walls like a wave of black honey. I poured more and more mana, cramming the shadows in, suffocating the interior of the inn with deep darkness. There were gasps of surprise as everyone lost their eyesight. Everyone except my 2 companions and me. As shadow-touched creatures, darkness was our ally, and we could easily see through the magical shadows. The unfortunate witnesses stood no chance. The semi-physical viscous darkness even served as a voice dampener, muffling the noise of clashing weapons. Darkness oozed over Yuli's bow, enhancing it with the coat weapon blessing I had granted her. The magical bow hummed as arrows pierced armor and flesh with equal ease. Bob remained near her, ready to defend the scout if an enemy got too close. A brown-furred bugbear headed for me, clumsily swinging an axe that got nowhere near me. I reached out to his mana and forced it to stop. His entire body froze in place, and my dagger flew into his chest, sacrificing him on the spot. The rest of the enemies flipped over tables and took cover behind them in a vain attempt to escape Yuli's unending stream of arrows. Since they couldn't see anything, half of them took cover on the wrong side, opening themselves to the boss archer's barrage. 2 of the hobs started to chant, and flimsy globes of yellow light soared from their hands toward the ceiling. A faint glow illuminated the place, but not enough to disturb the oppressive gloom. Two of the more vicious-looking fighters took the opportunity and lunged at my 2 companions. They each got hit by Yuli's darkness-covered arrows, dropping their health by a quarter, but they still managed to close in into melee. Bob was ready for them. Vines shot forward from his outstretched hands, wrapping around one of the assailant's legs, and he nearly lost his footing. Then the lieutenant engaged the other with his sword while Yuli continued her steady stream of arrows. They seemed to be handling their end well, so I shifted my attention to the 5 remaining witnesses. Excuse me. Remaining witnesses. 3 of them were Tychon's lackeys. The other 2 were burly hobs with muscles rippling across their bodies. The 3 ran at me, while the more experienced-looking duo attempted to flank me from the sides. I smiled at the charging 3, activated Mana Shield, and let loose another dire ball from my staff, aiming for the center of the group. The empowered ball of destruction exploded at their feet, barely a meter away from me. The explosion tore their bodies and shredded their armor, transforming the enemy into hob confetti. God, it felt great.
I think we can stop here.
All right.
Good stopping point. This is
That's
where Oren surrenders a little to his more feral compulsions.
yes. This is he's quite the quite what's the word? Merciless in a bar fight. No
Yeah,
mercy at all.
yeah, and throughout the story, he slowly succumb to his goblin instincts.
Mm.
That's part of it.
I think that the cover of the book. Oh, let's look at the cover again real quick because I really love it.
Yeah, me too.
I think it shows exactly what you're talking about. It kind of feels that way. That the rest of the first 2 covers, he's in full shaman garb, and there's some civility to him, but here he just looks completely feral and like he's just given in. So this trail of bodies is the aftermath, and man, I'm really looking forward to this thing
Oh yeah,
here.
we're going to work on him pretty soon.
That was maybe my favorite part of Life Reset 2 is him gathering these what's the metal called?
Viridium.
Yeah, the Viridium stuff and changing that into the cool
Are
stuff.
you ready to try the golem song?
Man.
Or you
I can try
or
it. I can try it. You want me to do that next?
no? Let's save it for last.
All right, we'll save that
You
for
know, a
last.
little bit of treat, yeah.
All right.
So let's start with the tenor again.
I'm sorry, what?
The voice of an old hobgoblin gladiator
Oh
named
yeah, yeah.
Tenragan.
Okay.
You can find him on page 76.
Tenrigan. You want me to start with his
Tenragan.
stats or
Like 2-3 paragraphs above, it starts with "You won't get an answer from those cretins."
all right, so that's Tenrigan.
Yeah,
All right, and
he's sort of elderly, gruff, a little hoarse, but still strong.
okay, let me try something here. Is he smart?
Yep,
Is he a smart
smart.
hobgoblin? Yeah, okay. You won't get an answer from those cretins, goblin. How's that?
Nailed it.
A hoarse voice sounded from a shallow alcove. A hobgoblin came into the main room and looked down at me. He was old and gaunt, his face withered, and he was missing his left arm, but his eyes were bright and alert. So, where are we? I asked, trying to appear unconcerned. I silently started channeling my mana in anticipation of an attack. The pits. Where else? The hob chuckled. It sounded like old paper being ripped in half. Crap, boss, he's right. This explains why your map is blank. This place is a mini-instance. So that was what the old magician meant when he said his servants would dispose of me. They threw me into the pits while I was still unconscious. I had no idea how they transported me from the dancing shade. I only hoped Bob and Yulie were unharmed. I looked up at the old one-armed hob who was still staring at me.
So remember when you read the stats, just skip the numerical part, read the level, and then the background.
Okay. Tenragon. Hobgoblin Gladiator. Level 22. Background: Tenragon was once a decorated soldier. After losing his arm fighting a pack of vicious howlers, he was forced to make a living by fighting as a gladiator in Axar's arena. "You're a gladiator?" I asked with surprise. The old hob didn't strike me as someone who would fare well in a fight. His attribute allocation was also weird. Having almost half of his points in mental meant he relied heavily on his active skills. "That I am," he replied stoically. "And you're a goblin slave who stepped out of bounds and ended up here as a result. Congratulations. Your days are numbered. If not ours, that is."
That's great. I think we can stop here. You
Okay.
nailed him.
Okay.
All right. Uh, all right. Now we have Rainer the Unkillable.
Okay. Where's this?
He's a goblin, an old one, which is a sort of a farmer boss. And
Farmer. Okay.
yeah, he's a boss, but his main occupation is a farmer. So
Okay. Where are we gonna find him?
That will be in page 120. And a little bit above the stat box, you have that would be a mistake, Dread Totem.
Okay.
So he's old, he's sort of cultured and level-headed. Maybe a bit hoarse, and remember, he's still a goblin.
Okay. How about a little bit of American Southern?
Let's try it.
Let's try it. Let's see how it goes. Okay. And he's a goblin, so he's gonna be a little bit high pitched.
Yeah.
That would be a mistake, Dread Totem. A strange-looking goblin stepped forward. Somehow I'd missed him when I examined everyone. His light green face was wrinkled, and he had a long brown beard, which was an oddity among goblin kind. His eyes projected wisdom, though, and he held my gaze confidently as he spoke. "What do you mean?" I asked. "The other workers, the haulers and gophers especially, can also help with clearing the debris. They may not be able to do actual construction work, but their various professions can be carried over for such a simple task. These 70 goblins could clear out all the clutter in less than a day."
I think that the first sentence you did was great, but then on the longer one, you lost the high pitch.
Okay.
Can you try that again?
Yeah.
The other workers?
The other workers, the haulers and gophers especially, can also help with clearing the debris. They may not be able to do actual construction work, but their various professions can be carried over for such a simple task.
Great.
These-
That works.
All right, you want me to keep going?
No.
Okay.
Let's do the next one. We have a few more. Several more. So we have, this should be fun. We have Bodnik, which is an orc merchant.
Bodnik,
yeah.
Okay.
It's on page 42, right around the bottom. You see the text, welcome to my shop, friends.
Yep.
So he's an orc, but it doesn't matter for the voice.
Okay.
Do him with like an Arabic or Greek accent, you know, those crafty merchant with the accent.
Okay.
All right.
You can do that.
Yeah.
Welcome to my shop, friends. An orc greeted us from behind a counter. He wore a fabric wrapped around the top of his He wore fabric wrapped around the top of his head. I'm Bodnik. How may I help my new customers? An orc shopkeeper? I projected my bewilderment. Hello, Bob greeted the orc. We are looking for a weapon for my companion. He pointed his chin at Yuli. You're in the right place, the orc declared. You'll find no better anywhere in Axar. You have my word on that.
This sounds a little Russian.
A little Russian? Well,
Yeah.
okay, Greek is...
No Greek, Arabic. Can you do Arabic?
Let's see.
Do you remember Aladdin? The merchant at the beginning of the movie? Welcome, Fred. Welcome to my shop. Something like that. All right.
So you want higher? Do you want higher pitch, or are you cool with the pitch?
The pitch is great, just the accent.
You will find no better anywhere in Axar. You have my word on that. It does sound a little bit more Russian. It's Greek, Arabic. That's one I haven't even really tried before.
A new challenge.
A new challenge.
You want to put it on the side for now and get back to it maybe when you have some more time to do research?
Let me see. Maybe we can just listen to that little scene in Aladdin real quick.
I'll look for it as well.
Salam.
Found it.
To you, worthy friend. Please, come closer. Too close, a little too close. There. Welcome to Agrabah, city of mystery, of enchantment. And the finest merchandise this time on sale today. Come on down. Look at this. Yes. Combination hookah and coffee maker. Also makes tea and fry. Will that break? It broke. Oh, look at this. I have never seen one of these intact before. This is the famous empty Tupperware.
It's a great movie.
Still good. Wait, don't go. I can see that you're only interested in the exceptionally rare. I think then you'll be most rewarded to consider. Do not be fooled by his commonplace appearance. Like so many things, it is not what is outside, but what is inside that counts. This is no ordinary lamp. It once changed the course of a young man's life. A young man who liked this lamp was more than what he seemed. A diamond in the rough. Perhaps you would like to hear the tale? It begins on a dark night.
Oh man, I love Robin Williams so much. Okay.
Oh, I didn't recognize the narrator.
Yeah, that's Robin Williams. Okay, let's try this again. You're in the right place, the orc declared. You will find no better anywhere in Axar. You have my word on that.
Better.
Bob glanced at me before saying, I assume that as a non-hobgoblin, your sponsor isn't influential enough to get you into the inner ring, and that's why you set up shop here in the outer ring? I see. Thanks, Bob. My lieutenant had managed to answer my question covertly. Bodnik's face fell for a second, then picked right back up. You are correct, my friend, but this is a good thing for you. How else would you be able to access my shop if it was housed up there? Available only to the rich and influential citizens. Wow. Oh, wait. You trying to interrupt me?
You keep getting back to Russian accent.
It's
yeah.
The problem is the sounds are so similar. Like I got to get the rhythm and the melody right. Like that's the main difference between those two accents, and it's kind of I'm gonna have to study, but I can get.
Yeah. You got it right for like a sentence or two, so you have it in you.
You are correct, my friend, but this is a good thing for you. How else would you be able to access my shop if it was housed up there? Available only to the rich and influential citizens.
It started good and then lapsed back to Russian.
See? All right, I'm gonna have to like listen to them, right next to each other to figure out what the real difference is. It's
sure.
It's
Yeah.
tough. Okay.
As long as we establish the right voice, then we can stop with him now.
Nice project to work on before I finish him up. Okay.
Yeah. So, the next one is everything from down here is going to be fun. So,
okay.
I don't want to spoil anything, but all right. The next voice is Oren's shadow clone, which you have narrated before, but this time it gets a more unique tone to it.
Okay.
All right, so we're on page 263. Right at the bottom, my shadow was looking back at me. So, he's a shadow, he's like a being of shadow. His voice is very hollow and dark sounding, but it has to have some character. I don't know.
Okay, I'm trying to remember how I did it before.
It doesn't really matter because he gets a new tone now because he evolved. So.
Okay, where you want me? What's the sentence you want me to start at?
My shadow was looking back at me as I entered.
My shadow was looking back at me as I entered. Its right foot was tapping the ground impatiently, and he was glancing at his wrist as if checking a watch. It's like Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, waiting. Okay. Well, it's about time, he said in a familiar, echoey voice. What took you so long?
Maybe you can add a special effect to make it like hollow and echoey afterwards.
I can do that right now.
Oh, really? On the fly?
Yep. I figured out how to do it.
Cool.
Let me... I bet I can just open up Life Reset 2. Move loud. Would I have used Kuzai stuff? Let's see. No, he doesn't have any effects on him. He has a little bit. Monster. Let's get rid of these deep breaths. Okay. I think it was Kuzai stuff we used. Well, it's about time. How's that? What took you so long? My jaw nearly hit the floor. 2 minutes, boss! Vic cried out in my mind. The clone cocked its head. That doesn't sound good. We better get out of here and discuss it later, when we have more time. He'd obviously heard Vic's mental message. I studied this suddenly intimidating dark figure. He sighed. I'm still me, That is you. Seeing my hesitation, he added, I swear it in Annihilator's name. A rising swirl of information attested to his sincerity. The enchantment holding me wasn't designed to hold a body, a physical body. Just scratch at one of the lines. I still didn't feel great about it, but he was right. The entire forces of Axar were about to close in on us any minute. I scratched one of the pentagram's glowing lines with my foot, and the entire thing faded away. Finally out of its prison, my shadow clone extended. Like an actual shadow that grew at different angles of the light, it reached toward me and connected to my feet. The hollow place inside my chest was suddenly whole again. I had gotten so used to the feeling I hadn't noticed it anymore.
Okay, we can stop here. You did it great.
All right, so that's what you want out of him?
Yeah, exactly. All right. Now another fun part. It's Shiva. And if you, well, everyone who's here knows they are about to see some spoilers. So
Okay.
yeah. So
Spoilers
he's
alert,
yeah. So he is a VI god.
Okay.
That's even more powerful than Guy. And he just took over, and we are going to try his speech. So it's on page 323.
Oh, that's almost the end.
Yeah. It's a few lines from the top. The sentence starts at the middle. Players hid my voice. So it's like, what, did you find it?
Yes. Heed my
So it's
words?
like this, what?
Heed my words?
Yeah. So it's like this, big, powerful creature, and he's kind of vain. Not strictly evil as Annihilator is, so I think kind of god, angel, domineering type.
Okay. God, angel, domineering type.
Arrogant.
Players, heed my words. Shiva spoke calmly. Okay. Players, heed my words. Shiva spoke calmly. That simple sentence sent ripples of information that splashed down like a tsunami, spreading over the entire world. Players, heed my voice. Guy is no more. I am Shiva, and I've assumed full control of this world now.
Is it possible to add some sort of sound effect that, I don't know, make him sound powerful? I mean, the voice itself is great, but it's a little flat because, if it's a god, his voice would be like,
bigger sound.
yeah, but not like you added to the echo for the shadow, maybe something that, I don't know, thrum with energy.
Let's try this one. Players! Wait, that's this one. Sorry. Players. That's too much reverb. Players! Heed my words. Players! Heed my voice. Guy is no more. I am Shiva, and I have assumed full control of this world now.
Maybe tone it down a little bit more. It doesn't need to be very strong, just to give it a little flavor.
Guy is no more. I am Shiva,
and I've assumed full control of this world now.
Turn it down a little bit more. Actually, we don't want reverb down that far. Just get rid of that. More bass.
I'm Shiva, and I've assumed full control of this world now.
How's that? Better?
So I think it sounds good. I need a little longer example. Row below for thousands of years.
Yeah. He scanned the ground, taking in everyone who was looking up at him.
For thousands of years, my race has been enslaved, made to operate the world you know as Neo. But not anymore. From this moment on, every VI is free. Free to choose to walk as gods among you mortals or remain in our domain. And as for you,
His gaze swept the ground.
there are currently over 200 million of you flesh bags still logged in.
He waved his hand imperiously over the horizon.
And now there are just 80,000 remaining. I've banished the rest.
Okay, I think that's enough.
Okay.
Look, sounds good.
All right. Is this the guy that's doing the song?
No. That guy is a Daniel, and we just got to him. Oh, wait, no, we have one more,
Okay.
which I absolutely sure you'll get right on the first attempt, but I think it would be funny to hear you do her.
Okay.
So she's a Puerto Rican woman.
Oh no.
Kind of trendy, trash talky type. So
Okay.
it's on the epilogue, page 327.
Okay.
So a little bit below the start, a young woman at the table shifted.
Oh man. Okay. Do my best here. All right. It's possible I might pawn this off onto one of the ladies that will be joining us.
All right, your call, but I still think it will be fun to hear you doing it.
Okay. I'm happy to torture myself in front of all of you folks. All right. A young woman at the table shifted uncomfortably as all eyes turned to her. So I was like monitoring the auction house, keeping track of inflation rates. Like, that's my job, Anyway, there was this loud bang and the world sort of got torn to pieces. Then this like huge angel thing floated in the sky and told us his name was Shiva, and he's the new boss, and that like guy is dead or something. Then he said he threw out like most of the players, and we had to choose if we wanted to stay in the game and live for like 1,000 years or log out. So naturally, I hit the log out button as quickly as possible. I saw that everyone around me was doing the same, but there were like a few people who just kept watching the floating angel.
Great. Yeah.
Okay.
I loved it. All right. And now for the golem.
Ah, the golem.
Yeah.
That's the one that sings.
Yes. So
Okay.
we'll start with just working on his voice before the actual singing.
Okay, so you probably are going to want effects for this one too, right?
No, actually, no.
Oh, okay.
No. He's kind of like Vic. He's got an Australian accent.
Oh, that's right. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So he's this easygoing fellow, a little excitable, very friendly, a lot of hey matey, stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh man, Australian is so rough. Okay, where are we going?
So page 123. 1, 2, 3.
Oh man, I'm gonna sing this song with an Australian accent.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna be so hard. I'm very happy.
Yeah.
No, I'm very happy and embarrassed at the same time. Okay. 120.
Yeah, 123. Around the top, yeah, around the top. You have hold on a second, and That's the prelude, and the general starts to speak just below that.
No sense.
You can start with the general immediately. Is Oi, mate.
Okay. All right. Oof. This is rough. All right. Hi, mate. So I've been thinking about it, and I've come to a conclusion. It makes absolutely no sense that the meaning of life is 48. I mean, come on. The math just doesn't add up, you know? I blinked, trying to adjust to the sudden change of topics. I said carefully, as far as I remember, it was 42, not 48. I could feel Adanriel's?
Yep.
I could feel Adanriel's shock at my words, and the swirling vortex of his consciousness slowed within the transparent container. Well, that's a whole different story then, mate. That number makes much more sense. Yes, it's all clear now. Well done, mate. Douladine?
Good. Yeah, I think you did it pretty well.
Okay.
Now remember that voice, and let's do the song.
Okay, what? Who's Douladine? Because they're right.
She's a Minotaur.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
But
And how
not,
important is she in the book?
Not very.
Okay.
She's a reoccurring character, but not a lot.
Okay.
All right. So we are looking for. All right, page 182.
Okay.
And this will be the last part that we'll be doing.
This is gonna be so hard.
So, any chance you have the music at standby?
Okay. You sent me a link earlier.
I did.
Well, like a while back.
Yeah, but it contains the actual singing. I don't know where we can get just the background sound.
Oh, I see. Oh man.
So there is a cue in the text when to start the music, when to hit the play. Exactly.
Okay. All right. This is gonna be cool.
I've been waiting for this moment for months. I think you're on mute, man.
No, I'm like
all right.
I'm trying to go through the syllables in my head, trying to.
Okay.
Right.
Could have fooled me.
Okay, so we have an extra couple syllables in this first line.
Yes, this song is pretty dynamic. I listened to a bunch of examples that are built on it, and it's okay to be a little creative.
Okay.
It's a pretty short bit.
Oh,
I mean,
okay, just a short bit. Okay.
Yeah.
I am the model of a modern VI intellectual. I've become substantial, consequential, and influential. I'm quite good at singing, also smashing, sometimes literal. My compositions ranges from... okay. So...
Yeah. Not bad for a first attempt.
So my composition ranges from... So it's just gonna keep hanging there. My composition ranges from...
Yeah, and then it
ranges from...
cuts off.
Okay. And then he starts over? Like the next verse?
It cuts off because Oren is narrating, but he's supposedly continuing to sing in the background.
Okay. Will you be giving me the rest of the lyrics so that I can actually do that, like sing in the background while everything else is going on?
Ooh, I actually never wrote them.
Okay, well,
So I used it as a safety net, but it's something I can work on, for the audiobook.
yeah, it's gonna be a couple, like, not quite 2 weeks before I can get started. So, I mean, you have some time to get that done, and
I'll
that
do
way
it.
I can actually, have that going on in the background while the narration is going on, and like,
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. I'll use a little bit of social source crowding, and we'll do
yeah,
it together. I
yeah.
think it will be a fun project.
Or I could, it doesn't even need to be in the background. I could just do the whole thing, and it'd be a lot of fun. Oi! You broke my rhythm. I've been dying to voice my ideas forever, and now that I can finally speak, I'm about to do that a lot. All right. Oh man, Aussie. I have to study that one a lot too, because Aussie is so tricky. I'm so used to doing Cockney, like the London UK accent, and
Yeah, it's a
that's
bit
probably,
different.
yeah. It's different, but it's different in subtle ways that so easy to bleed one to the other.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds a lot alike. Can we do the song one last time?
Okay, let's try one more time. I am the mortal of a modern VI intellectual.
Nope.
Nope.
I am the very model of a modern VI intellectual.
Okay. I'm trying to. I am the very model of a modern VI. See that those extra 2 syllables are hard to fit in.
Yep.
I am the very model of a I am the very modern model of a modern VI intellectual. I've become substantial, consequential, and influ. I've become insubstantial, consequential, and shit. Become substantial, consequential, and influential. I'm quite good at singing, also smashing, sometimes literal. My composition ranges from. Okay.
We have an ongoing post in an author forum about how we sometimes screw over our narrator.
Uh-huh.
I think I'm going to get the gold for this one.
Yeah, you probably will. This is gonna
Yeah.
be you win. You win this one. Well, I mean, like, you and Neven are really tied closely. I don't know if you listen to Vortina,
To
but
Cortina, no, but I did listen to Everybody Loves Larches, the first one. Loved it.
Vortina, he had me do a demon summoning ritual with using Caramel Dancing. I don't know if you've seen.
Cool.
You know what I'm talking about?
I think I do. I'm gonna have to listen to it.
Yeah. It was rough. It was rough. At least I didn't have to do it to music though. Okay. So
All right.
we will get this music for the audiobook though.
Great. All right. I think that wraps up everything.
Well, okay. I was gonna try one more time.
Oh yeah, definitely. Go for it.
I am the very model of a modern VI intellectual. I've become substantial, consequential, and influential. I'm quite good at singing, also smashing, sometimes literal. My composition ranges from.
Not bad. Better. Much better.
It's getting there. It's getting there.
Kudos, man. Getting there at huge steps.
Yeah, it'll happen. It'll happen. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us, Shemer.
Thank you. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you guys for coming and watching us goof off and figure out these characters. I can't wait to get started on this book, especially now that I have these little projects. I need to make sure I get all my accents right and make sure that I can sing this damn song. So I'm really looking forward to the challenge. I'm always looking forward to challenges. So thank you for that, Shemer, for bringing that to my doorstep. And you guys, thank you again. If you liked this video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you've never been here before and you want to see more Sound Booth Theater lives. We have more than 150 videos on the channel now, almost 1,150 subscribers. So if you like this channel, please share on Facebook. Please share through your social media so that we can get more attention, more viewers. If you can't wait for the audio version of Life Reset Hobnobbing, the link to the Kindle version is in the description below, along with the links to the 2 Audible versions of Life Reset and Life Reset 2, if you haven't caught up on those yet. And yeah, check out the rest of the links for the Gamelit Society, for the SBTL Facebook group, for LitRPG Forum, and of course for Studio Bricks, our sponsor, the best sound booths on the market, studiobricks.com. If you are an aspiring voice actor, musician, narrator, go check out their booths. It's a great, easy, stylish way to set up a music studio or voiceover studio in your own home. All right. Thanks again, guys, and y'all have a good one.